evening, and apologies for my tardiness. Apologies to James, who is here from Watchyomouthreviews. Apologies to everybody. I was supposed to be here an hour ago, but I had issues. But I'm back now. So welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. We're here to go over Love and Hip Hop Miami Season 5, Episode 6 with James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel.
Right. And Lord, this episode was just way too much.
It really was, but hey, it'll be a quick recap because for those who are newer to the channel, watching the live replay, for those whose storylines to me come across as fake, disingenuous, not authentic, whatever the hell word you want to use, I'm not going to go over it. I just think it's a waste of time to talk about things that we don't believe to be fact, if that's polite. Anywho, so now that all the apologies are out the way, a bitch is here. Go to notes. We're gonna get into it. Apologies. So the episode starts with Shay, aka Bucky, Shay Johnson, Bucky from Flavor of Love, just as a friendly reminder for everybody. And basically, Shay has her daughter Shajaya. We find out this season who the baby daddy was. Last season, they weren't going to be together. Her child's father was all these things that weren't positive. And now suddenly she gonna stick beside him. That's the energy I'm getting. So Shay basically talks to Fabo. His name is Fabo, y'all. I got it right. About what happened in the previous episode with him getting mad at her mama, didn't getting into it with her brother. He done knocked the glass off the table for whatever reason. All this stuff happens. And basically, when she talks to Fabo, Fabo basically tries to say, listen, the issue with your mom is because your brother stepped in. And I kind of call bullshit, and it showed me, it confirmed what I thought about this guy. Now, I know everyone has their preconceived feelings about MJ because he dated Amara, he's Shay's brother, and, you know, basically there's been multiple women saying he don't do much, but this has nothing to do with how he is as a partner. That's that man's mama, okay? So if I see somebody over-talking my mother, I don't even like my mama like that, y'all, but I do love my mom. I'm gonna just keep it real. But if I see somebody talking to my mama crazy, it's up. We got a problem. It's just how it is. I don't care who you are, man, woman, or indifferent. Talk to Asha crazy, might get smacked. That's just how I feel. So I think most people feel that way about their moms, but I think men, especially black men, they love their mama. So you can't talk to her like that when you show up to the party late. And MJ wouldn't have had to step in, Fabo, if you weren't disrespectful to the mom. If you would have talked to that lady with some sense, then nobody would have stepped in. So, you know, Shay tries to defend her family. She's like, I know me and my mama have our problems, but that's my queen. Like, she's still up there. I thought that was good. Let's see. What else happened in this scene? We got another bad wig from Shay. That wig was a disaster. I don't know what's going on. I want to know if you have hair, Shay. I've never seen you in box braids or nothing. And on Flavor of Love, you had that bird's nest of a weave. So I just need to know, like, what's going on with Shay and her hair.
I agree. I wanted to know that too. It's funny you said it because I almost said that last week. I want to know if she has hair as well. Like, to me, she gave me, you know how girls back in the like 90s had interlocks?
Yes.
Because they had no hair. And it would be this thin. I forgot who was that wore that to my prom.
They had no hair.
The girl wore a whole, like, she had a bang. It was horrible.
Your 08 prom?
Yes.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I forgot her name, but God bless the baby. I forgot her name, but she wore interlocks, and it was terrible. And that's what Shay gets. I don't know why Shay gives me that, but she does. She gives me that she used to wear interlocks.
I tried.
I'm going to hell for that. I know.
No, you're not going to hell because interlocks, usually people was getting those who didn't have enough hair for dreadlocks. Like, I'm just saying, I didn't want to damage it.
I told you, yeah. That's what she gives me. She gives me back in when she went to high school in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s, that she wore interlocks. Interlocks was in at that time, so yes, you definitely, you know, gives me that, Shay. Sorry, and I called you Shay. I called you Shay. I didn't say Bucky, even though I was willing. Yes, it is.
That is progress for him. So that's pretty much all we got from that. Fabo, when he realizes, Shay basically checks him, is like, you need to make that right. You need to have a conversation. You need to apologize to my mother. Thank God he agreed. I was like, I don't feel like dealing with one of these men.
I thought she lost that one. I ain't gonna lie. I thought that man was gonna be stuck in his way because he doesn't like being approached. He doesn't like being questioned. And the mom's question was very valid. When you gonna come get this dog? And
I just want to say too, to be so fucking rude to her mom, Fabo, when the only reason Shay gave up the dog was because you didn't want the dog. Like,
exactly. I was like, what?
Jamaican men are? Is this what they have to give? Because Fabo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I used to work with him. So I not Fabo, but like that ethnicity of people. And when I tell you, dude got mad because I was saying goodbye to somebody, I was like, what? I said, no, I can't do that. So yeah, that ethnicity of people, the men, they don't like being questioned by women. They just don't. That's just what it is.
And it doesn't mean nothing's wrong with them as people. Well, with Fable, we'll put a pin on that because to me, there's a lot wrong. But in that culture, it is like women should not speak too much. Anyhow, that's all we really saw from them. He agrees to talking to her, and then he uses the Mama D encounter. He tells Shay, Mama D, because Mama D was like, I wish that was my grandbaby. And he kind of made it something more than it was. And I feel like he did that as a way to like take some of the heat off of him. But it's like, all you got to do is say sorry to this lady mama. You don't have to live with them. So moving on, we see Trina and we find out that Trina has a liquor. I had no idea that Trina had or was partnered up with an alcohol company of any sort.
Did you catch the name of it? Because I didn't.
I did not catch the name of it. She said it so fast, and the way it looked, I'm not interested in drinking it.
Yeah, because I was say I live in South Florida and I've never heard of it, so that's why I was like,
yeah,
I've never recognized that bottle.
Whenever rappers and celebrities go into alcohol, like as a business, I get it, but we have to remember, like most of these alcohols are manufactured at the same place. It's not like they're like putting the whiskey in the wood barrel and it's their specific. No, they all come from the same manufacturer, and then people put their names on it and might add a touch of vanilla or some extra shit.
But yeah, they buy some cayenne pepper or something. Yeah, I know how that works.
I'm not into it. I know James though, so I'm just explaining it for the rest of y'all. But like, if she has a liquor, y'all rushing out to buy it and spend full price, please take your time and find your local Bevmo, Total Wine, or wherever you go for your adult beverages, because Douce is just like, ugh, and that's supposed to be somebody's drink. Anywho, so Trina has an alcohol. It's a cognac. We see her at this event. Apologies, StreamYard saying my Wi-Fi's up and down. I don't know. Anywho, so Miami Tip and Amara La Negra, they do show up. And I just feel like as a whole, Amara just does not seem smart. Like the more I see her interact with people, and then knowing that she went live saying and insinuating most of this is fake, I'm just like, can we not have Amara next season? I kind of feel like I'm over Amara La Negra on this show.
I'm over her, and the problem with Amara is, let me explain it to y'all. She lacks just pure, just common sense and self-awareness. And that's kind of where I look at her, because just like last episode where she listened to the manager or whatever talking about SAFAREE is ruining her brand, and it was like, I don't understand how you would think to go and confront him and listen to that person and think that that's real when SAFAREE's been on Love and Hip Hop longer than you have, and literally has endorsement deals and has a huge name.
If anything, more people know Amara,
right?
Because of this. Now, it's not. There's good press and there's bad press, but they say that all press is good press because it means that you're being talked about. So,
I just feel like he could open up doors that I feel like that manager can't, and that's why I'm saying it. She wasn't thinking in that way. I feel like you have to understand, he's made a whole female rapper way beyond famous than any female rapper in her time. Now there's, it's a different time now, but in that time, there was only her and Little Kim that really were, going back and forth. And that's all that people were talking about. So if he could do that for her, just imagine the inspiration he could have with you if this were real. So
The
that's why I said
difference is Nikki was serious about her craft and coming up.
right.
Amara, to me, is not serious about the music because if she was, she would have stayed in the direction of the Spanglish pop, where she's, acknowledging her culture, but she's also at the same time doing music that the people who speak English can listen to. I mean, I would have listened to it, but some people want to understand what words say in order to listen to it. I don't need to do
I
that, but
mean,
some
I don't know. I don't agree with that because here's the thing. I don't know a damn thing Selena says in any of her songs, but I still listen to them as if they came out yesterday.
yeah, not everybody is like us in that way though, where they can do that. And so, like with music specifically in that industry, she had some traction, and then it's like she lost that traction dealing with a man, as we saw, and then she blames other people for like what James is saying. She just doesn't make the best decisions, and then she plays innocent and blames other people. I get tired of that, so I'm just tired of Amato. She doesn't also have realistic relationships with anybody on the show. Now, they don't all got to be close. A lot of them don't know each other. But like Tip, Bobby, Suki, even the new girl that we're going to discuss, Eliza, Rain or whatever, they all have something in common. The fact that they've known each other or have at least been acquaintances outside or off of the show. Trick, Trina, Joy, that group, everyone does. And then there's Amara. And I'm just like, who do you know? Why are you here? I'm tired of her.
It's
Anywho,
like, yeah, it's more so who do you know, and then like, is it a real authentic friendship? Because the way she establishes relationships, she concerns me in a lot of different ways. The first concern is that where's the guidance of trust in yourself? Because every girlfriend that you've had on here, you have fought with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what's going on here? Why is this such a, like mud hole for you? I'm trying to figure that out. So
She's
I don't know.
concerned with what people think about her. I think that's what it is. But at this event, we see Joy. We had to express our feelings on Amara, y'all. We just did because it's like redundant. But Joy pops up also to kick it with Mara, Tip, and we basically see them discussing Bobby Lights. Trina is there as well. I'm just annoyed. I feel like when it comes to the cast discussing Bobby Lights, especially those who are close or cool with Trina, it's the same shit since season one. Bobby is Bobby. He's not going to change. And I don't know why they keep acting like they're so upset and trying to make it a big deal. Oh, we don't want him to come to this and that. So they discuss Bobby. I'm just tired of it. So then we see Miami Tip basically talk to Trina about the new addition to the show and rapper Zoe Brinks. And basically Tip is like, I want you to, come meet her because you wasn't there. You wasn't in the right space. I like that about Tip. She'll like say stuff. She don't care how famous you are. She's going to say what she say and talk to you as she talk to you. But basically Trina had an attitude. She's like, oh, okay. And she just had this like nasty attitude that now I'm like, bro, Trina lacks no accountability. She's like, oh, I was tired and so on and so forth.
It's given you're over this show.
Stop doing the show.
Yeah, like it's giving you over the show, but you're not going to say no to the check.
Because outside of this show, I think most of Trina's income at this point is coming from shows and stuff because I don't know what she's invested in. I don't know if she has private investments.
I'm not even saying, yeah, I don't care where she get her bread and butter, but to me, if in the name of entertainment, this is what we're talking about, y'all. This is for entertainment purposes only. We're not talking about Trina like she broke and she out destitute. We're not saying that. What we're saying is that Trina's personality, her like ambiance when she's on the show has been very stank and has been very like it's unbearable. Like it's hard to watch Trina, knowing that I love her so much because she got me through high school with some of them songs. So it's like for me to see her now, 15 years later, and this is her attitude. It's kind of like Kelly Price when she was on R&B Divas. I love Kelly Price. I did. When I tell y'all I love Kelly Price, I did.
Yeah.
Seeing her on R&B Divas ruined Kelly Price for me. I don't even like Kelly Price anymore. Kelly Price couldn't even. She could even give me one of her new albums.
See, I watched R&B divas as well, and I felt the same way about Kelly Price, and there's two others. Who was it? One of them from Escape, who was on there. But
so you talking about Latasha?
Yeah, I didn't like her after that. Like prior to
I like Don Robinson, but that's a whole nother show for a whole nother day. If they ever bring back R&B divas and Don Robinson decides to hide her ass on that show, I will be reading the fuck out of Don Robinson because she does the most problematic shit online when she speaks about En Vogue that I have ever seen somebody do.
He says she's problematic. I cannot.
She is, absolutely. She is.
So sorry, y'all, we got sidetracked, but hey, it is. That's why we're here. We like TV. So the next thing we get, because there's not much to happen, Trina kind of had an attitude about meeting the chick, lacked accountability. Trina never seems to feel like she has to explain why she's done something wrong, but then Trina seems to have a habit of blocking people out if she's sad, going through something, and treating people like they're less than. Y'all need to start giving her some of what she gives. Give it back to her, and then maybe she'll correct it. I think that's the best thing.
You better say the word, because there's no way in hell if I'm going out, I'm doing a scene with you. We at work and we supposed to be tee hee hee ha 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 and everything in this scene, and you sit over here. Yeah. But
listen, if you don't want to be around, don't come. If you don't feel like going to the party, Trina, then don't go. At the end of the day, Trina's a legend. So no matter how anybody feels about her on the show, she's got to the point in her career. She's been relevant since we was both kids. So she don't have to be here and do this. So that's the thing that makes us like, come on. So the next thing we get, I'm going to try and be nice. SUKIHANA, Suki with the good coochie, honey. I used to be a huge SUKIHANA fan too, because I was like, she's owning it. If that's what you do, that's what you do. And she lost me along the way, y'all, when she was talking about Dr. King giving fellatio, receiving it, and all this other stuff in co-reda. I said, we don't need to play with our history, Suki. But my first note that
I said we really don't. We don't need.
I think that's the thing that Suki doesn't understand. It. We're gonna talk about it. So my first statement: Suki cannot expect us to really ever take her seriously. I think that she has let this, as she calls it, Casamigos song and the success of that song. I think she let it go to her head, as well as the OnlyFans and all of that. It's just like something's not clicking. I understand that she in her mind, she believes she's representing herself, which SUKIHANA does represent herself. I'm cracking up. We have a comment from Oso Best regarding Trina. He says it would make sense that a self-proclaimed bad bitch would have a bad attitude. Get off my live. Anywho,
I couldn't disagree more with you if you would have said anything more than she can have a bad attitude. No, she cannot.
No, he's saying it makes sense that she has one, though.
I know. I know what he said. I'm reading it right now. But what I'm saying is I'm putting extra salt on the comment right now, because everybody thinks this online. What he is saying, what Oso Best just said, is what everybody's thinking, is that she is allowed to have this attitude, that she's allowed to be this, whatever y'all want to call it, because she has this self-proclaimed title. No. Just because you have a self-proclaimed title, you still have a responsibility to be decent.
That's right. Let him know.
So for the people who think, I know he really don't think like this. This is my boy. I know he don't. I really know he don't think like this. He just,
He's pointing out the obvious.
He's pointing out the obvious.
Most of them chicks say, I'm a bad bitch. They have the worst attitudes and communication skills.
Absolutely. And we're not going to go here. Trina is not decent whatsoever. And I tell y'all, it's hard for me to speak bad on Trina because I love Trina. But I don't care. Anybody can get it. She needs help. I want her to seek therapy.
She does.
If Iyanla was not retired.
But Trina got the money and accolades. Can you
But Black people don't get therapy. That's the problem. Black people don't get therapy.
She needs it. My God, she needs it. You could tell the things in life that she holds in and pushes people away at are now eating at her.
Yeah, she's wearing it. She's wearing like a fur coat. And it's like, I need her fur coat. She is.
You've been told to speak. I cannot. I guess he has time today. So SUKIHANA basically expects us to take her seriously, and says that, you know, she's a representation of herself. And I think it's important for all people of color, especially in our African American community, to understand that the way that you act, the way that you behave in a certain situation, unfortunately, you do represent us all, for those who have biases against us all and view us all as just this one big glob of one, when yes, we may be Black, but we have different personalities and stuff. But Suki can't take us to take, I cannot with Suki. I just cannot. And then in the very next scene that she says, if she wants to be taken seriously, we see her meet with her cousin again, who's proud to work in a pizza shop.
Let me explain something to y'all. Y'all can't wear the face of a clown and then walk in a bank and think that somebody's supposed to take you serious.
I cannot with him today.
Y'all cannot sit up here and come on reality TV showing all your ass, twerking, fighting, and then come on next season saying you want to be Mother Teresa wearing a whole nun's outfit. Nobody is going to buy and take that serious when you make yourself out to be a joke.
Suki has to understand this. We don't just think for the perspective of us and to judge you. Most people, porn stars, know it. People who get into the things that she got into, get into it knowing that these are things that are not fully or wholly accepted by society. So to get into it and then play martyr and like, oh my gosh, society doesn't understand this and that. You knew that some people would have a problem with how you portray yourself, and you throwing up on that penis on the OnlyFans. She had to know. She had to know. And Suki with the good coochie, I'm just going to put the sidebar out there because I am a Gemini, so I'm a little bit nasty. Sis, you talk about, oh, I'm the good cat. I'm going to be the best fuck he's ever had. But you don't know how to suck dick if you're throwing up on them.
It's not even that. It's like you think that you could put that out there, and then all of a sudden we're supposed to take you serious.
We can't forget that.
We can't unsee. No, we can't unsee it. It's not that we can't forget it. We can't unsee that. Every time I look at you, that's what we see.
I see that.
And that's the problem.
And you at your knees on the concrete.
Yes.
And other adult things. That's what I see when I think of
the
that.
Only way SUKIHANA can really, I'm gonna be honest with you, the only way she could reclaim this, self-proficient person is if she disappears from it and then come back.
I think also she has gotten to a point of fame where she doesn't have to be on Love and Hip Hop.
She doesn't.
Cardi B left before she even thought of making Invasion of Privacy. All she had was some little tours she got from being on TV and a mixtape. That's all she had. And she figured out after that, I'm getting off this show. Her mixtape did good. One song, Stripper Ho, did well. And she didn't come back to the show. She listened to her management. So I'm like, Suki, I don't know what's going on, but obviously the route that you went, and Cardi B, someone who was in not the sex industry. I don't know if stripping counts as that, but she stripped. She did what she did, but we can't find that online. We can't think.
Right, which is why I said she needs to disappear for a minute, focus on the music. The problem with, they play that song so much out here that I feel like I'm never gonna not see or have any reference to SUKIHANA, but it's just I can't take her serious. I can't take her serious, and I think that the more that she's on this show, it's only gonna make it worse. So I don't know what to say about Suki, but all I know is that
she's a sweetheart, though, you could tell. But we see her meeting with her cousin, and she talks about, all this stuff. I also want to know what happened to her store, Good Cat, that we saw in the previous season before this one. She opened a whole boutique store that she has in Miami called Good Cat, and she hasn't spoke of it or shown it at all. The last we saw, customers was mad coming in there that she wasn't open and nobody was there and telling her how to run her business, and she went off on them. But
well, it seems like she fell into the reality proclivities when you open a business. It's only going to be open for the premise of that season, and then when it leaves, that season leaves, so does that store. That's just because we've seen other people. We've seen that happen to Benzino. We've seen that happen to K. Michelle, Kirk and Rashida. We've seen that happen to Stevie J. What's the other one that was in Diddy Dirty Money? Not Dawn, but the other one, Kalina and her husband. Yeah, her husband. They opened the club. It's no longer open in Atlanta. So,
that club closed.
Yeah.
Damn.
That club is not open no more.
Shit. Well, I think the other thing. Let's see what else. So Suki's meeting with, that was her sister. Her sister looks just like her mom, Lori, by the way. Sister looks just like her mama. I don't know who Suki came out looking like, but her sister looked just like the mama. Anyhow, so we see Suki talking about the situation with Bobby, how she felt like Bobby and Tip was talking about her. And she basically takes accountability of her treatment of Bobby. And all I can say is that girl ghetto as hell, a little bit trifling, but she has a good heart at the core. A lot of people who behave like she does on television, like, fuck that bitch, I don't care. It's going to be beef forever. Even Cardi B, if you have beef with me, we're going to have beef forever. Like, Suki wants to make peace or whatever, so she says she's going to try and talk to Bobby. Let me move on to this next scene. Did you have anything you wanted to comment? I don't think you
No, move on to the next scene, please.
So the next scene, we see Amara La Negra. The only reason we're discussing Amara is because she met up with somebody who was a new introduction to the show. So Amara talks about how she invested her money when she was with Alan into apartments all over the Dominican Republic. I just want to say also, side note, Amara, if Alan, you should have known Alan was not the one and didn't care for you because he convinced you to invest properties in the Dominican Republic. With the money that you had and that you need, I would invest money in properties or a property even in Miami, and you can probably make what you're making on all those properties there out here. I'm not from Miami, but I know that it's one of the most expensive and largest real estate markets we have in the country. So if I'm going to invest, I'm not flying away from there. I'm going to invest money in that area, especially with her being from there. You think she'd want to, but anyhow, that was just a sidebar. But we see that Amara is talking about her real estate to look into finally investing in Miami because she's not with Alan anymore. And she wants to go to Eliza Reign. I'm so mad that I'm stuck in this recap to even discuss it. So for those who don't know, Eliza Reign is one of Future's many baby mamas. I think there's like 13 or something like that. Disgusting, irresponsible. If you're not married and you're doing that as a man, I feel like that's where chemical castration needs to come into play, or forced vasectomies, because they can be reversed. Because ain't no way you just out here doing that, make it work for the courts and people. She got with Future. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Outside of doing recaps and watching these shows, I'm not big on like TMZ. Most of the pages I follow that report on pop culture are pages that report on pop culture for what we watch, like the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta page, the Shade Room, Bravo Snark Side, or Bravo Wild Black. These are some people I follow for that, or Kempire. I don't look into that, so I can't give a full background on Eliza Reign. But from what I remember seeing on the internet, she got with Future when she shouldn't have, and she was fucking on a bunch of people who were famous. She was seen with Rick Ross. She's known in the industry, but it seems like she's more so known as someone, I don't want to say a pass around girl, but I can't say that she was known for like her real estate or her businesses or anything like that. But I know that she had that baby with Future, and there was a lot of speculation on the internet about it not being her kid. And there was the DNA test and all of that was public. But she says she met Future in 2018. Apologies for looking down at my notes. And that he was happy to have the baby when they began their relationship. And then while she was pregnant, he was no longer happy that she was pregnant. It didn't make sense. So there's obviously some holes in her story. She suddenly, while explaining this, starts crying with absolutely no tears. She had not a tear in her eye when she's crying to Amara, explaining her future or situation with Future. I felt like she was trying to use the I'm a single mom thing kind of for empathy. So it annoyed me. She didn't have no tears. If you crying and you really hurt, tears gonna come out, regardless of makeup. Yes, I know some makeup's waterproof. I'm a female. Sometimes I wear makeup. But you'll still see those like water lines and indentations. So there was nothing.
I have a comment.
Uh-oh.
Because what you said about when Future said What she said, Future, when she was during her pregnancy, was no longer happy or interested anymore in her. That sounds about right. That sounds just about right because her story matches a couple of the baby mamas. They had said the exact same thing. They said that he gets excited when they announce a pregnancy, and somewhere around 4 to 5 months, he's no longer
Sierra,
happy.
she cheated on her pregnant.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
then
that
again,
sounds about right. Yeah, I don't think there's holes in that story. That sounds just about right. She's not giving me Jessica White, so I'm kind of okay with her for now.
I don't have an issue with her. I just don't I feel like she has feelings and is impacted by what happened, but them tears was fake. I don't care what nobody fucking says. Why are you crying about your struggle as you're selling this multi-million-dollar home?
I just think that she probably thought, like a lot of women, she thought that she was special. And y'all had to understand, baby, no one's special. No one is special.
I don't be feeling sorry for women who have babies with dudes who have like 50, 11 baby mamas. You had to know and assume that you're not special. He's done this before.
What makes you special is what makes you special if he can't get you pregnant. That's what makes you special. Because you have the capability to run.
I'll never forget when DeBrat with DeBrat met Future. I was cracking up because she posted a picture of him holding her. She's just smiling. She's like, I got pregnant just from this photo. I was dying. I said, DeBrat. She said it to him, tagged him. I said, I love it. I love it. I love it. Anywho, so basically we get the story. She cries. She has no tears. She complains about being a single mom. Here's the thing, my issue with Eliza. She complains about how being a single mom has been hard, but right after having that baby with Future, for those of you who know, y'all know, feel free to comment if you know, she was literally pictured in the tabloids. It was a big thing on planes with rappers, basketball players, all this type of stuff. Most single moms that I know can't just get up and go on the plane with a rapper. She says she has no help. She said that verbatim on our TV screen. Someone who doesn't have help is not on the plane with Tory Lanez and a bunch of other people. That's who it was. It was Tory Lanez. They were telling her, shut up, bitch, or whatever.
So let me ask you, because I know Future doesn't have this baby. Where is the baby?
Exactly.
Where's your
baby?
She
says that she has no help. And that being a single mom is hard. That's why she cried with no tears. So I want to know, since you have no help, how were you able to leave not a 1 or 2 year old, your infant? This was during the pandemic. She was seen on the plane with Tory Lanez and his whole crew as somebody who had just basically gave them fellatio. She admitted it. It was a thing. So I'm like, you can't sit here. Y'all got to realize, like, yes, I understand you can't be with your kids at all moments of every day. But to complain to the world and expect us to empathize off of you being a single mother as you're on jets and planes, quite literally, is baffling to me. You are basically, in my opinion, being disrespectful towards the single moms who really are single moms. You know, that term is getting used a little bit too loose, in my opinion. So
it absolutely is, because then y'all need to start making these men single daddies. Because when I tell y'all, I'm not, see, and I'm going to go on a little rabbit hole real quick. This is what I'm going to do, because y'all women need to understand something. There is nothing wrong with giving these men their babies. There's absolutely nothing wrong. The problem with a lot of you women is y'all want to be in control, because you still feel like you got them if you in control, and that's not it. Y'all, if he decides to check out, okay, you could check out, but here is your baby. And I will pay you child support, because you have to understand something. Y'all don't understand. Men get off if they pay child support. Because if you think about it, you have to spend your whole check to provide housing, food, shelter, like clothing, transportation, and all heat supplies is maybe up to $400 a month. How much are you forking out? So do the math. So before y'all women start thinking about, oh no, he ain't gonna never treat my baby, you don't know that. And if you give the baby to your mama, call CPS. They'll give the baby to you.
They will.
They'll give the baby to you before they put it in foster. They tried to, let me tell y'all, they tried to figure out if they could find a relative that is stable. And if they know that the mama is stable, they gonna give that baby to the mama. But yeah, stop doing this. Start giving these babies to their daddies and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. Especially for those who are like, it's not about money. Then do a 50-50 and let yourself pay to them. But if you don't want to do that, but want them to do it to you, like, then be quiet. That's how I feel. But,
that's how I feel too.
we get this long story from her, and we find out that Eliza and Miami Tip, Miami Tip, Eliza Rain, and Bobby Lights used to all work in the same strip club together back in the day. Tip, obviously, and Bobby are still friends. Eliza Rain, I didn't even know that she knew these people, but I guess they're no longer cool. Tip made some public comments, basically alleging and telling the business of two personal friends. I guess she's alleged that her baby was a baby for a check, which I believe too. I don't care what nobody says. I believe it. And Eliza's upset about these comments, which I can understand also. Like, if somebody's running around talking about, oh, your child's a check baby, even if you had your baby thinking, well, at least I'll get a check or some aid or whatever, like, she still has to attain and grow love for her child. She still grew that child. So she's not going to be happy about hearing that. But at the same time, Eliza, you got to understand, honey, I know you want our sympathy, but you ain't got it. I think a lot of people have the opinion that your kid is a check baby, not because of you fully, but because of who you chose to have that child with.
That's what I was just about to say. I was just about to say, I don't understand why women get mad about that. Like, let's say what it is. You didn't sleep with Future because it was some nobody who worked at UPS driving a truck. You didn't do that. You slept with Future because he was a known rapper in the industry. Mm-hmm. And why him out of all the men that Mrs. Best just named? Why him out of all of them? I don't know, but you chose him. So you cannot tell me that if it wasn't for the money, you wasn't choosing that baby for the status. Like, you can't tell me it wasn't one or the other. Like,
listen,
I'm sorry.
I know chicks are dating somebody for money when I see the fact that this chick went from Future to Tory Lanez. Huh? You know, so I'm just kind of like, you know, it is what it is.
That was my point exactly. Like, would it have mattered if it was Future or if it was the dude that drove the UPS truck? I'm just trying to figure out, like, would it exactly my point. That's why I'm like, I want women to stop doing this, because you make yourself look stupid when you say this. We know what we're looking. Yeah, we know what we're looking at. Mm-hmm. We know. So it would have been better to say, yeah, I did it, because you know what? At the end of the day, why have my baby by a bum when I can have it by somebody who got it? Boom. There.
Okay, it looks like I messed up my own notes, but I talked about it all in one. So we good. I skipped the note. We did discuss Bobby. Anywho, and Tips. I'll skip that. And we discussed, I skipped the whole note. Whatever. We got it all talked about. So the next thing we see, apologies, is Bobby rehearsing for his new single, which I think sounds better than a lot of the music he's done. I wouldn't listen to it, but it sounds better than a lot of what Bobby has done. And SUKIHANA comes with her sister to talk to Bobby. And before she goes in, she was talking about popping an implant from each of his little cheeks. I was cracking up at that little read. But Bobby took accountability. Suki took accountability. And I think that that's a big deal for both of these people. If you have watched their journey being in the public eye, however the fuck you call it, they both took accountability. She basically was offended by them discussing Bobby and Miami Tip discussing her OnlyFans. Listen, and Bobby made a good point. He was like, well, are you sensitive? Because that was a lot. People do have OnlyFans. She's like, y'all got OnlyFans too. Their OnlyFans didn't make it to Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. I'm scrolling just trying to see, because I'll never forget, we were on the pandemic time. So I'm scrolling, just hoping to see like a notification or to see something Trump fucked up at that time. And I see that shit. And I was like, whoa, I unfollowed her after it. Because I was like, why is this here on my timeline? And the thing is, what if I'm in public scrolling and I come across that? So she doesn't seem to understand that nothing is wrong with doing OnlyFans. Nothing's wrong with doing porn. I just learned a star on that Boy Meets World show from back in the day when we were kids. I guess she became a porn star, the chick who played Rachel. I said, what the heck? So it's nothing wrong with doing porn. Yes. James is like, what? I just learned.
I know that ain't who I think that is.
Yes, the redheaded girl from Boy Meets World. She's a porn star. She said that she did it. Me and JoJo were watching interviews on YouTube. She said that she did it to avoid being typecasted. And for those who are wondering, to be typecasted is to play the same role over and over. So the guy, Leon from Snowfall with the fro, he always plays a gangster with a fro in a bad neighborhood. He's been typecasted. That's typecasted. Just a little.
That was her reason?
That
was her reason?
That was the reason she gave.
So she wouldn't be typecasted?
That's what she said. Google it. I know.
Yeah, if you have the link, send it to me because I really want to watch that now.
Yes, I will gladly send it to you. We can send you some other links too. You just get it all in one place. But basically, I bring that up because Suki has to understand that people do porn. It's not the worst thing in the world. But people have to go to these sites to look for it. They don't want to see it just on the social media that their kid could be following you on, Suki. That's all I'm saying. But she did take accountability. They made peace, and I was happy with that. So I'm going to move on. We see Mama D, Shay, and I forgot Shay's mother's name. I apologize, but we see them all meet, and they both discuss Fabo. Mama D and Shay's mom discuss Fabo, and they both agreed that he was rude for no reason. And when he talks to them, Mama D explains her encounter. And I guess Shay's mom explains a little bit of Fabo's disagreements and irritation, and Mama D goes in. We know Mama D from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Mama D not gonna hide nothing for nobody. So Mama D was like, well, I don't want her upset, but he's rude, and there's the rumors. So Shay's mom obviously has heard these rumors because she was like, oh yeah. And then Mama D started dropping bombs, and Shay's mom said, I don't know what the hell. You could just tell in her face. She's like, why am I friends with this lady? But basically, Mama D says there's a rumor about Shay's baby daddy, Fabo, that he has 6 kids and an ex-wife. I'm just glad he got 6 kids and an ex-wife because y'all know it could have went another type of way. And then Mama D throws in there, he's also broke. I'm just like, Mama D. Protect Mama D at all costs. She's funny as hell. And I like people who call it for what it is without fully getting crazy. Mama D's good for a prop, but she ain't gonna snatch you up. She ain't gonna attack you. She not slow down. Cracks me up. So Shay's mom responds to that, and it's like, I do not trust Fabo. Shay's mom does not trust Fabo. She actually alluded in a confessional that Fabo reminds her of when Shay was in an abusive relationship. And listen, in less than 30 days, I'm going to be done with college. It can officially start analyzing shit. But he does have signs just of seeing him in a couple episodes of being someone who could be abusive. And it has nothing to do with his culture. It just seems like him as an individual may have some temper issues. No one should get that riled up. Just
right. I was just going to, you took the words right out of my mouth because I was literally about to say, if someone telling you to get a dog that you originally bought for your daughter, man, and that makes you mad, then there's a bigger problem with you than the person approaching you. There's a bigger problem there. So I don't know what it is, but that shouldn't have gotten you that angry. So we're talking about the wrong thing here. If we're talking about culture differences and stuff, but that shit had nothing to do with culture. That shit had everything to do with he didn't want someone approaching him or correcting him. That's a mommy issue. So we're not even going to go there, y'all. I'm not even going to do that with y'all tonight.
Apologies, y'all. I was eating a hot dog. I have been in jury duty on a trial. I got selected. Why? I think because I'm Black, honestly, and they wanted some color on that trial because I was the only person of color there. But I didn't get to eat because, court apparently requires a lot. So I apologize if you hear me smacking or something. But I agree with everything that James has said. James is usually right. I think that my friend is usually right, though. He's a renowned author, and authors, to me, are smart and right. But basically, the conversation it ends up, so Shay comes in, they end up talking. She comes in the middle of Mama D and her mama's conversation. To me, it seemed like she was a little overly emotional before things even started. She was overly emotional, but I feel like it's because Fabo explained it to her in a way that was like Mama D just randomly attacked him and was like, this is supposed to be my grandbaby, when she made a comment, but it wasn't, it seemed like she was trying to be funny, or I didn't take it fully seriously. But basically, Shay throws a fit when talking to Mama D, didn't even give Mama D the opportunity to explain herself. That Bucky was bucking, y'all. And I mean, honestly, James says it all the time on this channel, so I'm not going to go over it a lot. Shay Johnson is emotionally immature. It's just what it is. I'm not going to go into it deeply. I'm trying to get this recap done in under 60 minutes, but she's emotionally immature. And I think that we both saw that in how she responded. And those who don't think that her response to Mama D was emotionally immature are likely that way themselves. And that's okay, because you can change. You can change. But that's all I can really say. Even her mom was like, Mama D apparently has been there for Shay off camera, on camera. Like, she really does care for this person. And even Shay's mom is like, you know, Mama D cares for her. I don't want her to do all of that. So Mama D leaves, lets her be upset. And basically she ends up talking to her mom. And her mom's like, why you crying on this lady? Because I think that's why her mom was like that. I'm going to need an apology. And it needs to come quick, because the longer it takes for this man to apologize, the longer I'm not going to like him or going to keep that door closed from him. You know, it's because he seems like the kind of guy where if Shay's mom and Fabo don't get along, I don't feel like the child will be impacted, considering that the child's father wasn't around until cameras were. I'm sorry, I'm calling it for what it is. That's just how I feel. Do you have any other feedback you want to give? Or?
No, not at all.
He's like, I'm saying the right things today. James
because
is like,
it's like at this point we beating a dead horse when it comes to Bucky. We just really is, and I'm about tired of seeing her.
It's the same stuff.
Where is the rest of the cast at this point? Where is the rest of the cast? I'm about
missing an action with those storylines or too much controversy that VH1 don't want to show them. Because y'all people was getting gunplay in Vanchay a whole lot until that stuff happened with him pulling the gun on her. Now suddenly we ain't got gunplay in Vanchay that much. So I feel like editors are editing, especially with what happened on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So we're going to get to the last scene of the show, which was Bobby's, I know there's single releases party. He called it a premiere party. Either way, we see Miami Tip, Eliza, and Bobby's friend, who I can't remember, but Bobby performs after everybody meets up. I thought he did an okay job on his performance. I like that he put an effort in, rehearsed. Joy sees Bobby. Joy's like, Bobby, you're an asshole. And he apologizes to Joy and to Trina. He wants to apologize. He wants to change his image, his self. And I think that that's important for the people who watch this show to remember. While we like to have entertainment, and this is what Miss SUKIHANA doesn't understand, sometimes you do have to reimage yourself. You do, because sex sells, yes, but it also puts you in a place that's very hard to come out of in terms of reputation. So I think that people like Bobby, Miami Tip, who have gone from stripping and fucking and doing all this stuff they open about, to Miami Tip wanting to manage people, Bobby wanting to change his image, SUKIHANA not wanting to be ghetto no more. May have got you put on, but being put on does not get you respect. And
it's like what Robin Givens said in The Family That Prays, the Tyler Perry movie. She goes, screwing your way to the top may get you there, but it won't keep you there. And we also have to keep that in perspective. If we're talking about being overly sexualized as well, it may get you there, but it's not going to keep you there, because there's always going to be somebody else that's going to have a better body, better moves, can kick their leg up to their ear and all this kind of stuff. There's always going to be somebody that does that. So, at the end of the day, I can appreciate that comment, because you do have to really change your image. Life is about growth, and that's what a lot of people want to see, is the growth.
Yeah, I agree. And that's basically what Bobby was trying to say. And I think James caught that and definitely spoke on it in the most appropriate of ways, because that's what it is. So we see Zoe. Zoe Brinks. She comes in. We haven't seen her for a while. You know, I wish they would have. They don't do a good job on Love and Hip Hop Miami and bringing in new cast or making the cast blend in some way. That's just my personal opinion. And Zoe is a really good example of that. She comes in, congrats Bobby, and Bobby takes her to Trina to meet her. And when Zoe walks up, she does something that I thought was wrong. She walks up to Trina. Oh, I don't know if I'm approaching the Mean Girls or not. And it causes a madhouse. Joy speaks up, and it's like, "Whoa, I'm not a mean girl. What you talking about?" And then Zoe's response was like, "Ain't nobody talking to you," and all this stuff. And basically, y'all know how I do. I'm not going over arguments like that because I don't really like arguments. But chaos erupts. I did not see who tried to hit who first, but I did see that Joy did not hit Zoe from what I saw, but somebody in their little entourage, somebody threw hands because
it was whoever was standing, I think, on the right of Joy. That's who did it.
Yes.
It was it was whoever that girl was. That's who swung. I saw that, and then because they edited it was edited. That fight was edited as hell because
the fight was edited so chopped up.
I was like, wait, okay, because I remember, because the problem is that girl that was on the right of Joy, I remember seeing, I don't know if it was a tattoo or if it was a bracelet. I couldn't tell, but whatever she had, you saw that swing. So, and I think that, and if I'm not mistaken, it seemed like that girl got into it with her as well.
Here's the thing that irritates me. Like, number one, don't invite me nowhere if y'all just gonna be fighting everybody that you can just because you're mad. Like, that's irritating to me. I would have been like Saucy Santana when that stuff happened with Bambi and Erica Mena. I would have ran my ass up out of there. Y'all can fight each other.
Okay, trust me. I would have been gone. Y'all wouldn't have to worry about me. All y'all would have saw was smoke in the air from me being gone, because I'd have ran about that place. As soon as Erica started standing up on tables and shit, that's when you say, "Oh, time to go."
Right.
Ain't nobody finna play with her.
That's just like when I was younger. I was like, if you knock, I'm bucket. If my friend mad, we all fighting, which is to some extent true. But like now, I'm just kind of like, as you know, James will tell you, when I'm mad, like I felt like I was gonna fight before this live, y'all. I had to call my friend and just.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I had to understand. I've known this young lady since she was 16 years old, and when I tell you,
he's a safe space.
It's like I've seen, like, the very first day I met her,
was probably
it was her birthday, and one of our friends decided to get into a fight with a former friend of mine, and we couldn't even celebrate her birthday because of that situation, and she was literally on the verge of tears.
I was so mad. I'm like, why are y'all fighting? Not now. Can we do this after school?
On her, because I remember you like, really, you said, really, on my birthday, really, and I went up and hugged her and I said, happy birthday. Like, I am so sorry.
And look,
I felt so bad, and I felt horrible that fight happened. This is the first time I'm meeting her. I probably knew her all of an hour, not even that, probably 45 minutes. And this is what happens.
With his
and
hoodie.
I just hugged. Yeah, but I used to wear hoodies. Yep. And I went right up and hugged her, and I said, "I am so sorry. Like, happy birthday."
Oh, I just can't. But the reason that's relevant to this is because I kind of felt for Bobby a little bit. Like, this is him trying to unveil a new image
of his life. Yes.
And this is what you do. Y'all know he trying to get past that Zeus shit. Kissing that man in that wheelchair. He's trying to get past it. And now he's got this happening. So it's like, I get it. Stuff happens. But I think once we get to a certain point, like, walk away. Don't get too involved. I don't like that. I get Joy did say to Zoe, yo, big ass. But Zoe came way too hard.
Yeah, she was like, it seems like she was kind of coached to do that. Because what reason would you have to go up to a bunch of women and say, oh, I don't know if I'm getting the mean girl clique or whatever the fuck she said?
A bunch of women that know each other. And the way girls are, if you come up to somebody in our clique or crew who's with us on some bullshit like that, I can understand why everybody's spoke up,
But
but
also in the scene, it was very unclear of who she was speaking to. Like it was like because she didn't really direct it towards nobody.
well, I felt a little differently. I felt
Do you?
like you walked up talking about, oh, I don't know if I'm walking up to mean girls. That's plural. So you talked about all of them
Right,
unintentionally.
that's what I'm saying. I said, it was very unclear of if she was really, because as I said, it seemed like she was coached. Like when I was looking at her, I was like, no, she was told to do this, like told to say, like I don't know if like
She's
someone put
too
a bug in her
new.
ear.
She's too new, and she probably that could be it because in my head I'm like, well, why would you say or do or even behave with that tone or have any of that energy when you're walking up to Trina's entourage, regardless of her being on this show? That's somebody who's known to do features and work with new artists. She may have a bad attitude, but off camera, she seems to be happy with and working with and help to start the careers of a lot of artists just by doing features, working with them. I know some people on my little song reviews who have been able to get features from Trina. She really does try to give back and work with people. So, if just from the perspective, let's say they're not musical artists or anything and they're just working a regular job, right? You can't, just because you have a bad encounter with someone, you sometimes have to check yourself in your tone. So, regardless of what we saw, I think with Zoe in this situation, she was wrong. And what happened with Trina before in a prior episode with her just rushing out, like it was rude, but she didn't come at you with the tone that you came at her with. So it's like, Zoe, we would have felt bad for you, but now we don't. And then if you're homeless living in your hair salon, why wouldn't you check yourself? Because the bigger picture, housing, should be ahead of everything.
I'm just saying, but I'm still not out of the park with not liking her right now because I feel like there is
She's too
hope.
new for us to like
Yeah.
her. Like
Well, no, I don't dislike her. I just think that that was just uncalled for. So I'm gonna give her a redeemable moment. Maybe she'll have one later on.
the
But
redeemable.
if she doesn't, that was a really whack way to go out, girl. I'm just gonna say that now.
Preach, preach. So the last part of the show, we pretty much after the altercation, Zoe starts talking shit about the family. Trina, you trick daddy's lapdogs, that bitch Joy. She basically start like roasting everybody over there. And Bobby's like, that's my family, though. I need you to stop. And she wouldn't stop. He's like, okay, now you're being ungrateful. Which she was being ungrateful. You're in a space with a bunch of people on TV. You're for someone who's an upcoming artist, this is something that millions of people are gonna see.
Yeah,
not
everybody's
not,
watching.
not
So
everybody's going to end up like SUKIHANA or Bobby Lights, able to become self-sufficient off of bad behavior. Not
no.
everybody's going to be able to do that. So she's got to be careful. And I think being a bigger girl too
Yes,
is
it's like you already, and yes, and not only a bigger girl, but a black woman too. So you have to already understand that we, as black people, just in general, men and women alike, we already have three targets on our back already, and the fourth one takes us out.
yeah.
So you cannot do this. Like you have to try to avoid all of the shots that people can label on you. So you cannot do that, and I'm just speaking because I'm just speaking because we want to see you win. I want to see every black person who has a talent and a gift, and even those who have not found it yet, to win. But we
Mhm.
cannot win if we don't play the game correctly, and we don't make the rules. This is just how it is.
I
So I'm just
agree.
gonna say that.
I agree. So that's all we got from Zoe Franks. The last part of this episode was basically Eliza Rain and Miami Tip finally meeting up and speaking. Not too much happened. They tried to talk about what was wrong. Eliza explained, like, girl, you brought up my child. I didn't like that. And Tip didn't even, I don't know if it was edits, but it looks like she just went straight to, well, it was a scam baby. Remember you told me you didn't know if he was pregnant by Future or the guy in Ohio? And I'm just like, okay, so obviously there's facts there because Tip's been on TV for years. She hasn't been caught in a lie. So kind of like Candy Burris on RHOA. Some cast members just are less
I
inept to lie,
felt
but
like this.
it
I
was
felt
low
like
blows.
yes, I felt like this. I felt like regardless if there is some truth to that or if it was just, just a kind of like a fun shade moment, like you have to understand something here. You ain't no different from that lady.
Mm.
You just ain't got no baby. So
she do got a baby, but not by nobody.
and not by nobody. Yeah, not that situation.
Yeah.
That's just what we're saying. So I want women that only have a glass window to act like a rock can't get thrown and expose yourself to, because you ain't too much different from that lady. I'm just gonna put that out there like that. You was wrong to say that. You was wrong to say, the scam. You was wrong to say that. I'm just sorry. I did not like that. Because at the moment you could have been uplifted and say, you know what, I apologize for anything that did to you. But at the same time,
just went for her without explaining what reason she has to be mad at Eliza Reign. And we saw Tip do the same bullshit to Saucy Santana, who now blew up as well with the situation when he was shot seasons ago. So though Tip, I think that the things that Tip were saying were likely true, but I don't think that it was okay for her to say those things. It was a low blow. It wasn't okay. But I also think it's a teachable moment, because Erica Mena claims that her kids were talked about on a different show, and that's the reason why Mena used the racial slur on the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Eliza Reign's kids was talked about. She didn't use no slurs. She could have went low right with her, but so far from what we know, we didn't do that. But that was the episode. I'm sure we'll see more. I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to incorporate some of these newer people, what's going to happen with it. But yeah, that's it, y'all. We gonna head over to the other live. I know I have a lot of upcoming lives on my channel, y'all. I have to do that so that I can keep up. But we're gonna head over to the next live, and we're gonna get into Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And we will discuss that episode. But I appreciate everybody for watching. Remember that these are just opinions. I know some of you reach out to me and find me on IG, and you want to tell me your opinions, or I don't like what this was said, and I love it. But just remember, they're just opinions based off of what we say, or based off of what we see that these people give us. We don't want to bully each other. The Mrs. Best Reviews channel, we want you to, if you comment, to comment in a respectful, appropriate way, or read the cast for filth, but don't fight each other. Anywho, love and light to you all. We're going to head over now and start Love and Hip Hop Atlanta immediately. Thank you for being here, James.
Thank you for having me. See you on the next live.
All right.